All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the SHIPIT Nation Week 8 cash game show. We're already here, Week 8. A lot of injury news. I mean, obviously, early on in the season, it starts a little slow, but we're ramping up. Just got some, I think, relatively big news before the show, so it kind of changes some of the potential plays here for cash games. So we'll go through DraftKings, we'll go through FanDuel, and the goal of the show is kind of to develop that player pool, and then obviously head on over to SHIPITNation.com where we have 4 cores for DraftKings and FanDuel, all done by our guy Title, who in the streets grinding cash hard. NBA busy time now as well. So if you're not a member, obviously we have packages that cover all sports on DraftKings. Our all access package is basically the same price of what people are charging for NBA. So come on over, check it out, SHIPITNation.com. Title, what's going on? Any initial Week 8 cash game thoughts here?
No bye week, baby. 13 games on the main slate, which sign me up. The bigger the slate, the better. So that's the first thing that jumps off the page. Second thing is a billion injuries. So like we said, we got a lot of the Carolina stuff. Jonathan Brooks, doubtful. Deontay Johnson will be out. Adam Thielen will be out. It looks like DK Metcalf will be out. Tampa Bay side. Awful injury to Chris Godwin on Monday night. Mike Evans with the hammy. It was going to be no Bucky Irving, too, according as of yesterday. Today, they did say he will play now, though, which then muddies up. We're not going to get to any Tampa backfield, but Rachaad White was going to look like a solid play. Probably, in hindsight, that'll save us because probably would have been another Sean Tucker day at a lot less of the ownership. So, I mean, just injuries galore. Tua's back. So, our man Tyreek looks very popular at only $7K. A chain looks too cheap. They're priced like it is still Huntley or backup out there. No DK Metcalf more than likely. I mean, Jaden Daniels is questionable, which brings Mariota. They said they pushed him yesterday. Yeah. They're going to see how he feels. Like, really weird quote there. But injuries and, I mean, Sunday morning when we talk through it in the quarter report, that could look different than what we talk about today. But, ready to talk some football.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you can't even feel bad for the Tampa Bay situation at all. Like when that game started, I was obviously watching it. Mike Evans was struggling to move. Obviously, he caught the touchdown early, but you could see he was not 100%. He gets injured. They're getting their ass kicked. It has to be like less than a 1% chance of winning the game, and they have Godwin in there running, running different slants and all that. Like, what the hell were they thinking? Like, it's baffling to me. And a team that's obviously off to a pretty good start this year is just crazy.
Yeah, I was at the Cardinals game, so I wasn't watching the whole game, but I did see the Evans stuff here, and that is absolutely crazy. I mean, Puka was limping yesterday a little bit too, and they still threw him out there, which, I mean, it's only week 8. Like, you don't quite got to do that. Yeah, the Godwins, I mean, whatever those percent chance to win, if it's less than 1, that's not good. Especially, you just know you lost your number 1 in Evans. You can't risk another injury. I mean, really sad for Godwin.
Absolutely crazy. So, there is still obviously a lot of news. I mean, some of this stuff could clearly change over the course of the next couple of days leading into Sunday, but that's why it's obviously important to tune in Sunday morning, 9:45 Eastern. Myself, Title, Tambo, talk through every game, and we'll hit on the injuries and the ramifications and how they affect the slate for tournaments and GPP. So we'll go through. We'll start on DraftKings. I have quarterback here pulled up. I have it sorted by projected points. Kind of surprising name at the top. I mean, these are our own projections. We have Jordan Love at the top. And, it's one thing I guess we can address kind of right off the top is people have asked, why do you have this guy so much higher than that site? So one thing I'll tell you around the industry, and I know you look around, I look around and see where everyone's at. Over the course of the week, they all kind of get to the same spot. They don't want to be, no site wants to be an outlier. So if they have someone too high, they'll bring it down so they're closer to the site that they're looking at. We don't do that. Like we make our stands on our guy. Like yesterday, it actually worked out quite well, if you remember, at SHIPIT Nation, because a lot of people were like, oh, why do you guys have Puka so high? We had him, I think, at like 13 fantasy points, I want to say. Most of the
high 12s. Yep.
Yeah, it was right around 13. Most of the industry had him like 6, 7, 8. Like everywhere else has him super low. Like, well, we feel like he's going to have a more significant role than the rest of the industry, and well, we happen to be right. And if you played him, you probably had a pretty good slate yesterday because nobody was on him, and he had the big monster game. So that's just one thing to point out. Like we roll with what we think, and we don't adjust based on what other sites do. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. And Jordan Love is definitely higher here than around the industry. But if you look at the results, like he's been very steady in terms of his production. It is sometimes hard to play him in tournaments because you don't know who the hell to pair him with because he kind of throws it around. But this is one number that's going to be a little bit different than the industry. So I think that is interesting right off the top. Then you got the usual suspects up here: Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Kyler Murray obviously has a nice number here at 64, flashed the upside last week, where you were at the game and he took off, I think, for like 50 yards and probably one of the easiest touchdowns of his career. I think he started walking basically at the 20-yard line. I mean,
he'd still be running.
Right? There's no one around him. And he just, like, I was like, oh, crap. I thought he got hurt because he, like, slowed up. I was like, oh, shit, did he pull a hammy or something? And then, like, there's nobody within 30 yards. So he kind of just cruise right in. Let's sort by value and see what else. So we got Love, Bo Nix. I don't know. Interesting. I mean, he looked pretty good last time out. Good matchup against Carolina, but man, they could absolutely just pound the Panthers. Aaron Rodgers, I'm not messing with that. Hell no. At 57. So what are your thoughts? Touch on Love and then anyone else that might potentially be in player.
I think it's like the Bo Nix standing out at 5,600, and then I'll throw Mariota in there at 53, assuming Daniels is out. Again, not sure he will be. It seems pretty real Q-tag. But if he was out, I do think Nix at 5,600, Mariota at 53 is probably where I'd go, at least at the slate lacks right now. And, I mean, usually Bo Nix, why would I ever play the guy? They're implied for one of the most points on the slate, like tied for
26.
fourth.
Yeah,
26 points.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What does that mean? That's how bad these freaking Carolina Panthers are on both sides of the ball. Bryce Young will be starting, which I don't love that because I think Dalton can make the game more competitive and push Bo Nix a little more. But he's 5,600 and like he'll get you a ton when we get to skill position players. And Bo Nix has used his legs. Like he has sneaky rushing upside right there as well. So I'm good with him at 56. I like Mariota at 53 too. Obviously, we know his rushing upside. That scheme fits him so well. I love when teams, it's so smart. Get a backup quarterback like your starting quarterback.
Yep, 100%. I mean,
so
the Ravens always do it. Who's the guy that
Huntley usually with Lamar.
Yeah.
You need to. And some teams absolutely don't, which makes no sense for a story for another day. But if Mariota plays, he got a lot of work after the first series last week.
And those are the backup quarterbacks that are definitely appealing. Obviously you saw the situation in Miami, absolute disaster, dumpster fire when the backup comes in. Mariota's been in the league. He's had success. And like you said, he fits the scheme. So it's not a situation where it's like, all right, you're playing just a backup quarterback for 53. There's like, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, he had 11 rushing attempts last week too. So I'm thinking probably it's Nix or Mariota if I go down. However, if a lot of value opens up down low and stuff and we can spend, I think it is probably Jordan Love or Joe Burrow. Like if I had the money for Lamar, sure, 900's a long way. Jacksonville's awful too. I mean, Jordan Love, tournaments is hard to play and we always talk about because who's going to get there. Cash games, you don't care. He can throw it to anybody. And he's absolutely balling this year. So him at 7-1 or Burrow at 7K. Do you have any preference there? I think it'd be those two, or I think I just go all the way down to Nix or Mariota. Thoughts on those two?
I'd go Jordan Love. Just the reason is like the Eagles, I don't know, like they have a way to like make these games kind of nasty. Like obviously they have a good offense, but like it just seems like it's always such a slow start to their games. I don't know if it's by design or just kind of happening, but I just feel better.
I just don't think they're very good.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel better about this game, presenting some back and forth. And like the Jaguars looked pretty good, obviously, last week against the Patriots. I think we could see a higher scoring game. So, yeah, definitely it would be love for me between him and Burrow.
I think that's my lean too. But
yeah.
Eagles are supposed to put up points. Burrow then has to be pushed a little bit. Will drop back a lot. So not like I don't know for sure if I do it, but probably Love or Burrow. But more than likely, I'll be saving with Knicks or Mariota probably.
Yep. All right. Well, let's head to
no Tua in cash for us, but he's in playing tourneys and we'll be playing some of his teammates.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, definitely not in cash. All right. Have it sorted running back by projected points. Got Saquon, Breece Hall, Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Kenneth Walker, Javonte Williams, who I'm assuming will probably be pretty popular. They're favored by, last I saw was 10, and that could potentially go up based on Deontay Johnson being out. A-Chain, like you mentioned, 6,200. The reason obviously behind the Miami guys more in play is Tua coming back, and their offense is going to be more productive. He was basically he was like 7,200 basically all season, I'd say, on average last year. 62, I'd definitely say is a value. Dobbins, big favorites at home, sort by value. Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, A-Chain, I think all three strongly in consideration for cash. Breece Hall, 73 after they fired Saleh. More work going to him. It was kind of splitting between the Braylon Allen, not splitting, but Braylon Allen was getting more work under Saleh. Him being gone, it's all Breece Hall. And they got to start winning games, man. Like after making the trade, it has not been good for the Jets. They need to win. So I think these three at the top are all very strong cash options and probably definitely 2 out of 3. Javonte Williams, probably for sure. Breece Hall, A-Chain. So is it kind of those three or anyone else that you're looking at?
I think those three are very, very strong. A couple more names I'll mention. Like I don't think necessarily I'm going to get above Breece Hall at 7.3. If I went to anyone, probably Nixon at 7.7, maybe Derrick Henry at 8.1. But again, with that 7.3 Breece tag, good matchup against New England, getting all the work, good pass catcher. I think he's probably the highest priced. I go. Then you mentioned Javonte, you mentioned A-Chain, both very good plays as well. A couple other names, J.K. Dobbins, getting the workhorse role for the Chargers on a run-first football team. Small favorites there as well. I believe they have to be favorites, right? Yeah, 7.
Yeah, they're 7.
A lot bigger.
Yeah.
Saints are so beat up. So, yeah, and 7-point favorites as a workhorse running back, probably favored to score a touchdown. I think he's good. I don't know if I need to go to Chuba. Even with Jonathan Brooks out, like Bryce Young there, I should probably scrap that. I can't.
That could just be a disaster, man. I mean, that could be an offense that literally scores 0. I mean, it's going to be rough.
I played Chuba week 1 with Bryce Young, and I got 1.4 points from him. And I told myself never any Panthers again with them. So it made me swap to Godwin, and I luck box 1. But yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, it worked out, but not how you draw it up. So probably no Chuba. That offense is going to be disgusting. Dobbins for 200 more. Pollard, I think, is interesting. It sounds like Spears is going to miss again. So 6.5K, getting a lot of touches. Again, the Detroit, good run defense, but a little worse with Hutchinson. Pollard it was a bad matchup last week as well, but when you get all the touches, you catch the pass or the ball out of the backfield, it helps a little bit. Kareem Hunt, I mean, man, dude, like the Chiefs, they like to run the football. Kareem Hunt's RB1 on a good team at 6.3K as good size favorites as well in a dome. So I think I'd be totally fine with Kareem Hunt right in that Javonte range as well, a chain range. So
I like that call. I definitely like the Hunt play for sure. 63. I mean, they want to win nasty games, man. Like they want to win these games in ugly fashion. It's very, very clear. And they'll give it to him as many times as they need to, getting all the goal line work. I definitely like that call. 63.
Last one. Tank Bigsby if ETN's out. He's questionable. 6.3K, right in that 6K range. Someone mentioned, 6K running backs loaded. It is. James Conner, I think, is a good play. Probably won't even get to him in cash, but absolutely is loaded. If ETN is out, I think Tank is an interesting play, but I don't love picking on Green Bay, and they are pretty decent-sized dogs, I believe. 3.5, not the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that 6K range, though, and then Breece Hall right now is a staple for me.
It's pretty clear. It's probably one of the more clear. I think like the last 3-4 weeks, there's been like 6 or 7 viable options. This week, I think it's really narrowed down to 3, 4, maybe 5, unless we get some news. Swift, yeah, I mean, it's a good matchup. I mean, the Commanders' defense not great. He's another guy.
I don't mind him.
Yeah.
The thing is, like a chain, Hunt, Javonte, Tank, Swift. Good luck picking the right ones. Like that's when I lean into ownership. If I can, like if I know a chain or Javonte or Hunt will be a lot more popular, usually I would just in cash games eat the ownership right there. But don't mind Swift at all.
Yeah, and then obviously this is cash game conversation, but another week where this guy is priced in a different tier than everyone else, and ownership we're showing 3. Saw last week, you can just nuke it. So Saquon for sure, man. In tournaments, we'll talk about that on Sunday, no doubt. If you guys haven't done so, hit the like and subscribe. Helps out a lot. These videos are always free, and they're going to remain free as long as the likes and subscription numbers remain up. So please do us that favor. Hit the like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and sort by projected points here at the position, and the Tyreek Hill, 21. Basically like 8 fantasy points higher than if I don't even know who was the dude starting for the Dolphins at quarterback.
Wasn't it Huntley, or did he get benched eventually? And it was someone. I just crossed off the team the whole time.
Yeah, same. That's why I can't even think someone in the chat will get us. But probably like a 8 to 9 point. I mean, he was projected around like 12.
It wasn't Skylar Thompson, was it? They didn't go back to him.
I can't remember. I literally did not pay attention to any of the Dolphins stuff. But highest projected guy, 7K, probably a lock for cash this week. 7K, you're not breaking the bank. He's the highest projected. He gets Tua back. Just changes the game for sure. He is usually priced right here with Jamar Chase in the 8K with Tim Boyle starting. Geez, yeah, I definitely miss that. Definitely miss that.
Yeah.
Definitely. No wonder like no one on the Dolphins did shit for 3 freaking weeks. But he's typically priced up here, 8,500 range. He's 7K. You're getting like a $1,500 discount on Tyreek with Tua healthy, so probably a lock for cash. Coming down, Jamar Chase, Diggs, A.J. Brown, Drake London is having a great season with Kirk Cousins, but it might be hard to get up in this range. So let's sort by value and see what we have. And there is going to be, I know for a fact, some good value because we already talked about the Buck stuff a little bit. No Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans. Someone's going to need to step up, and they shifted back to this McMillan guy over who is it, Sterling Shepard.
And Trey Palmer got a good run too.
Yeah, so you see both of these guys, 37, 35, probably playing one of those guys. Jalen Waddle at 5,400 with Tua back. I mean, that's cheap. Makes it a little tough if we're banking on playing Tyreek, but again, Waddle was upper 6s, low 7s all last season. I think he's a really good play. Mooney, Sterling Shepard, he's probably like the third guy. It's probably McMillan, Palmer, and then Shepard in Tampa tournaments. I think this is a great option. But I don't know, another position that's probably pretty straightforward. You're probably playing Tyreek. You're probably playing one of the Tampa Bay guys, and then you come back and kind of see what you have left is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, I think I see it the same way. Like Tyreek at 7K feels like a lock, just way too cheap. Tua's getting back. If I played anyone else above him, I think it probably would be Drake London. And I'm saying like I would be playing Tyreek and Drake London. You're definitely playing Tyreek. You're not playing anyone over him. I mean, he's been good, man. 7.2K. I don't love though. I'd rather Tampa be healthy. T. Higgins I was going to get to T. Higgins. T. Higgins looks like a phenomenal play. What is he? 6.5K. Very high total. Targets have been great. 8, 7, 14, 10. He's just too cheap. I think Higgins a very, very strong play.
Yep.
The Brian Thomas stuff, I think I prefer like Tank Dell at 6'3", right in that same range. JSN, I think I prefer. I'm assuming DK Metcalf's out. So right there, JSN is 6'3". We have Lockett at 5.6K. I think also very much in play. And then Jake Bobo will be in 3 receiver sets. Big boy, 3.3K only. If you want a full punt down there, again, assuming DK's out and all that, 3.3K can make a lot work. So any of those Seattle guys I think are interesting. You mentioned the Tampa stuff. McMillan looks like my favorite. D-Hop, I'd probably take a wait and see. Like they want to run the football anyway. First week in cash, it feels a little risky to me.
Tournaments, I definitely like in turn. What's the ownership? What do we have that at? Because tournaments
it'll be low.
Oh, 1.2. Yeah, if that remains true, I'll definitely have some. I'll have some Hopkins for sure in tournaments.
Yep, Tampa stuff. McMillan 3.7 looks great. Trey Palmer 3.5, great. Sterling Shepard 3.8, still very good. They will be operating a lot of 3 receiver sets, all below 4K as wide receivers. All of them look good. Carolina stuff without Deontay, without Adam Thielen. Leggett, I
no,
guess.
thanks, man. I'll just
with Bryce Young.
I'll just pass on that. Honestly, like Bryce Young, they're what is their team total? It's got to be like 12 or something because Denver has like a good
15.5.
Yeah, that seems like high. Like that seems high to, honestly.
And like it's 5K, so it's Mingo 3-4.
Yeah, just avoid that for cash. And that's you probably tournaments too. That's gross.
No, definitely avoiding in tournaments too. A couple other names, like I said, the Seattle stuff, the Tampa stuff. Tyreek looks too cheap. Higgins looks too cheap. I like the Waddle call, 5.4K. Like I'd be good going Waddle and Tua. That is way too cheap for him. Calvin Ridley, 5.2. Tennessee just traded D-Hop. Ridley's got to be the biggest beneficiary there. It hasn't been good for him, but right there, Ladd McConkey too. I mean, the dude was 80-some% owned, like on the Monday game. He got there in the second half, but running a lot of routes, almost all the routes in the slots. Good PPR guy, better play on DK than FanDuel. So I think we listed a good amount because you're playing Tyreek. That Higgins price tag really stands out. And then Tampa guys.
One of the Tampa guys.
Yeah, Seattle guys, I think too.
Yeah, for being a 13-game slate, I don't know. It seems relatively clear, like the direction you're going to go, unless something significantly changes. I think it also gets pretty clear when you get to the tight end position because Cade Otton 3,500, and he's the one that they were really going to when Evans went down. I mean, I don't know exactly he had to have a shit ton of targets.
A lot was garbage time. I do know
it was garbage time for sure.
It definitely was. With him.
Yeah, 10 targets. Like so, he is clearly strong. So what do we have it sorted by here? Value. Let me just sort it by points. 30. So he's down here.
Brock Bowers. Yeah, what a monster.
Dude. Yeah. I mean, they're going to keep just feeding him. They have no one else. It clearly makes sense. But 6,100, I don't know, for cash games, I think you can probably find something for cheaper. I do want to keep it sorted by value because Otton at 35. Mark Andrews appears to be back. We talked about it on the 2-game slate. I mean, obviously a little bit different than the full slate, but he's still 4K. And it's now 3 weeks in a row where he's been productive. Obviously a slow start to the season. I guess the one concerning thing is still not a lot of targets, only 5, 4, 4. Found the box twice, obviously, on Monday. So, maybe it is still Otton over him because of the volume. Will Dissly looked, I mean, he was probably their best pass catcher in that game, but you know what the Chargers want to do. They want to get a lead and run the ball. They didn't have the lead last game, so they passed a lot. And what do you have? He had 11 targets. It's still Otton for me over all these guys, and I think you probably want to save money here. Like Njoku had the big monster game, but $1,600 more. Like I'll just take Otton. So I don't know. It seems to me like it's Otton here.
Yeah, I like Otton, but I do think there's more in play. I think Bowers is very much in play. I think Njoku is very much in play, and I think Dissly's very much in play. If you are playing,
maybe it's like a 2v2 where it's like a cheat, like a Bo Nix and Bowers or Love and Otton. I don't even know if that works, but it's got to be
something like that.
Yeah.
My thought is Bowers too. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm grouping him like prime Kelsey, but kind of to an extent where I'm looking at 6'1" and I'm looking at the receivers nearby or the running backs nearby in that range. I think you can make a very strong case. Like some of the 6K receivers we mentioned around him, Tank Dell, JSN, pretty much the only 2 we mentioned there. I do like Higgins more. Some of those running backs.
Here's pretty crazy numbers. So in the last 3 weeks, right, he has not gotten the 100-yard bonus, and he has 1 touchdown. No 100-yard bonus, 1 touchdown, 23 fantasy points, 16 and 19. No bonus, one touchdown. If he gets a bonus and finds an end zone, he could just absolutely nuke the slate. And he's been very close, like you said.
So I'm debating 2 tight end teams with Bowers being one of them in the flex because at 6'1", again, you just have to, like, I'm going to throw it to you on this. Kareem, Achane, Javonte Williams, Tank Bigsby, Tank Dell, JSN, Bowers. Like, how does Bowers rank among them? Do you feel a lot better with the running backs and the Swifts, the Achanes, the Hunts? Like,
the natural inclination is to say, yeah, I want the running back, right? I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, there's more touchdown upside, but man, like looking at
he feels so safe, and he's not going to get in a bad game script without Devontae. Yeah,
the target numbers are crazy. I mean, 12, 10, 14. I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what most people are going to do. Like, they're definitely going to take the back. I mean,
for sure.
A large majority will just go ahead and take that running back. So if you're on like a popular train type build, I mean, that's one way to maybe avoid the train, because I can tell you for sure everyone's going to be going with the running back and not Bowers.
For sure. So I'll say, like, if I am playing Bowers, which I'm definitely considering and will be to Sunday, it probably will be 2 tight end builds, and it'll be Disley or Otten as the other one, because you need cheap more than likely at tight end. But then I'm just telling, like, I think he's better than the 6K receivers or running backs, and I think it's a very, very close call. Njoku as well, though. I do think with Jameis there, that is a massive, massive upgrade. We saw – is it going to be Jameis? Yeah, it's going to be Jameis. Yeah. All right, I had to make sure that it's not DTR. Like, come on. Jameis is – when he got in there, he threw the touchdown to Njoku, but Jameis slings it. Njoku by far
is golden for fantasy on both sides, for his team and the opposing team. It's exactly what you want. It is literally exactly what you want.
So that 5.1K Njoku, like, you compare him to some of these 5K receivers, he's better than the 5K running backs. I think it's very clear 4 guys. Bowers, and I would probably play Disley or Otten with them. I like Njoku if I have the money. If I go Bo Nix or Mariota, I'm more likely to have it. If I can't find it, I'm totally good with Otten. I'm totally good with Disley. I think very, very strong are those 4 tight end plays, and 2 tight ends is viable this week.
Yeah, and the thing with Disley, like I said, like someone wears the kind of Disley look like the focal point. Yeah, he definitely did, but it was a competitive game, and they were playing from behind a little bit. Like, if they have a lead, their offense is just done, man, because they'll run it with Dobbins like 30 up to 30 times. Like, they want to shut it down. Another team that wants to win ugly games. Now, I'm not saying he's not in play for cash, because I definitely think he is. Like, in 2 tight end builds, like you talked about. So the risk is them getting a lead and shutting it down.
But at 3K, like, what it gets you, he gets you 5 points. Do you want 5 points? No, but if it gets you spend ups, you could be fine there. Like, he's competing against Fiocco, Ladd, like a bunch. They got the whitest receiving core of all time out there. Little dudes and Disley. Yeah. No wonder why he's getting.
No wonder, no wonder. Yeah, Herbert's getting no fantasy points.
Yeah.
Defense is, I guess, kind of like whatever. Like we talk about each week. Like, don't make it a priority. Have it sorted by value. Ravens, yeah, if you can get them, for sure. I mean, you know what Jameis does. Like, he throws interceptions and turns the ball over. So if you can get there, yeah, but you definitely don't need to. Bears, I think if Jaden Daniels is out,
I think that's probably it. If Jaden Daniels is out, but it's not a slam dunk. Mariota can run. He can avoid sacks. The offense is good. The design's good. So there's no clear defense. I think we've had 2 weeks so far of the 7. We're on week 8 right now. So I guess 2 of the 8 where I thought we had clear. I don't think this week is clear on DK.
All right, we're going to switch over to FanDuel. But again, please do us that favor. Like, subscribe. Helps us out a ton. We do all these videos for free. They'll obviously remain free as long as you guys hit the like and subscribe video. A lot of times, quarterback on FanDuel, we can find a way to pay up. Done a pretty good job with the pricing, I'll say. Love 71 on DK. He's up to 89 over on FanDuel. Lamar Jackson at 88, I'd say probably a little underpriced. And if I'm paying up, let me just look at this real quick. Yeah, if paying up, I think Lamar's the guy, and you can probably make it happen if you want. I don't mind Kyler, 7,800, so $1,000 cheaper if you need the savings. Joe Burrow, 77. If you liked him on DK, you definitely got to like him over here at the 77 price tag. Let's sort by value. Love. So Knicks at 69, Cousins at 71. I don't hate that. Tua 7K. So I don't know, probably more options over here, but I would say like if I have the money, like I'm probably just going Lamar. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. Again, FanDuel typically is more spend up position due to only half-point PPR, so the skill position players aren't as important. Touchdowns mean a lot more, and there's more variance there, which means quarterback, you really can't miss it, which is the thought process. Lamar looks too cheap at 8.8K. He'd be the one I'd want. If I can't get him, I think it's Burrow at 7.7 in a good game environment. If I can't get him, I think it's one of two between Bo Nix and Mariota at 6'9", 6'8". There is enough gap between Lamar and Burrow where I do think Burrow's in play, and there's enough of a gap between Burrow and Nix and Mariota down below where I think you have three clear ranges.
Burrow
if I can get
over
Lamar, I feel good.
Yeah, Burrow over Kyler.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to lean into that game environment being really good. I think this is a spot Burrow could drop back 45 times.
Yeah. What is it? So it must be Dallas and San Fran Sunday night?
Yep. Pretty good game. But in terms of real life, DFS wise, not really too much.
Yeah, there's not many plays. All right, let's flip to running back. Oh, wow.
I will say right there, I want to, from the top two, at tight end, I'm just going to jump right there quick. There's two guys in play. They have Kincaid at min price at 4K. That's a big reason why getting Lamar will be easier. And again, I don't think Lamar's a lock. Burrow, Nix, that, etc. But Kincaid at 4K looks really strong.
Why is he 4K?
Because he sucks. Because he has no shit.
But they put no one all the way.
They're really trying.
Will
Disley's
4,900. We can. Who else? I mean, Johnny Smith.
Everyone's expensive.
Yeah, that isn't. Yeah, I'm guessing most people just play his ass.
I will say it's him or it's Njoku because Njoku's in a great spot, man. With Jameis as option one, it probably is still Kincaid for me, but it's one of those two. I just wanted to fast forward, and if you are going Kincaid, more than likely I'm going to probably go Lamar or Burrow and won't need to save. If I'm going to Njoku, and again I think it's only two, maybe that's when I'd have to go Nix, Mariota. But I wanted to skip to tight end because that pricing is the reason why Lamar is a lot easier to get.
Yeah, so you probably play him. In regards to like Tim Patrick, Allen Robinson, guys like that, it is not.
You don't get different in cash.
Yeah, it's just not the week for that. Just because we have the Tampa Bay guys that are super cheap and they're in much better spots than Tim in tournaments. And we'll talk about that obviously on the Sunday show. We've been playing Tim Patrick for 3 weeks, whether it's good or bad. So yeah, I'm sure you know kind of where we're gonna go. But yeah, there it is. Talk about Allen Robinson having a much bigger role. So
I mean, the thing is in cash, like you don't need pivots. Like build a chalk 100-man 50-50 on FanDuel. 50, you take 50th place, you get paid the same as you take first place. So
we've complimented FanDuel all season on their pricing. Now just going through this, man,
it's bad at running back.
It's a very bad week for pricing on FanDuel because Javonte Williams is going to be 6K. He had a good week last week, didn't he? I think it was. I'm pretty sure he was there on the prime.
Oh yeah, because it was the prime time. Yeah, he smashed 2 touchdowns. Was the optimal.
Yeah. Well, what was that? What night was it?
Thursday, I want to say.
Oh, so they had time. Like, man, it was like 6K for him is just a terrible price tag. He's going to be popular. Breece Hall under 8K on FanDuel, bad price tag. So there's 2 for you. And then let's see, we got 8-chain under 7K. There's probably 3 for you. I don't know. Like you are obviously in the streets grinding cash. I'm not. So I don't want to force you to say these guys are locked. So I'll say it. Like you're playing Javonte Williams. And for me, I would definitely be playing Breece Hall and then probably like 8-chain. So like you don't need to really add much to it. It's bad pricing this week. I mean, you know what the builds are going to look like. It's going to be Lamar. It's going to be Kincaid. It's going to be Javonte Williams. It's going to be Breece Hall. It's unfortunate because we've complimented them all season. Like they've done a great job. Their pricing has been better than DK's. Easily. This is the first week where they dropped the ball in a big way.
Yeah, no, you're right. The only other 2 names I'll add, DeAndre Swift, 6'5". If you want a little savings from a chain, I also think J.K. Dobbins at 7'4" looks really strong. Touchdowns weighted even more so on FanDuel. I mean, he's just
Swift is gone. I just have DK up here. I don't have FanDuel, but DK points, 29, 20, 21. Why the hell is he 6,500? Like, that is like a super bad price tag on him. So,
yeah, it is. Those touches are great. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so that's bad pricing. We'll chalk it up to that, but very clear what people are going to do. I'm guessing Tyreek is cheap, 76. So there's another guy. But I guess maybe it is to the point where there's so many cheap plays where there are decisions to be made, right? Like there's like so many because we come here. Trey Palmer is 4K, who's going to be probably out there every time Baker Mayfield drops back. McMillan under 5K at 49. Waddle under 6K. So I don't know. I guess maybe I take it back a little bit where it's not as obvious because we have so many cheap plays. If you're playing Kincaid and Javonte Williams, do you really need Trey Palmer? Probably not. Like you're still going to get the lineup you want. If you're playing Trey Palmer and Javonte Williams, do you really need to go all the way down to Kincaid? Probably not. So I don't know. Maybe there's so many cheap plays where there's more decisions than we think, but you're probably playing Tyreek for sure here. Waddle under 6K. Like a lot of people would probably ask, can I play them both together in cash? I don't hate it. I think it's definitely viable. Let me sort by points and see if there's any spends we can go to. I wouldn't trust the Dallas stuff with CD at 91, Chase 92, Diggs 85, Debo 8K. So the only spot where they have like decent pricing, like the top end wide receivers, AJ Brown 9K, Drake London 9, Amon-Ra 8-9, Brian Thomas Jr. 65. But you're probably playing Tyreek. I like Waddle, like I talked about, and then you have the Tampa Bay cheapies, and then maybe you get two spends at the position. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, and like most weeks, I think Kincaid would be a lock at 4K. But with all this value is why I do think Njoku's in play, and what you do there will dictate a lot what you do at these other positions. Tyreek's a lock. There's no doubt about that at 7.6K. If I'm playing anyone above him with Tyreek, I think it's Drake London again, like I said on DraftKings. 7.9K is good price tag for him. Wide receiver 1, he's been good this year. If you're playing Kincaid, your Javonte's cheap. You can get Drake London and Tyreek, so I like him. T. Higgins at 7.5 still looks way too cheap in a great game environment. Burrow's a cash play. I like him. Go down a little bit. Don't mind Tank Dell at 6.9. Last game was disappointing, but going to be in a dome this week in a much better spot. I think he's fine. Going down a little more, I think both are this Seattle stuff. Tyler Lockett is 6.1K. I think that's in play. JSN 6.4K. I think both of them are in play. What's Jake Bobo? Bobo at 4.3. Trey Palmer all the way down there. McMillan's 4.9. So it's clear where the value is. Bobo definitely a better play on DK at 3.3 than 4.3 on FanDuel. Probably would rather find the money to McMillan up to 4.9, but him, Trey Palmer, and Bobo look like your savings down below. I played Darnell Mooney at like 6% in cash last week. I'm always good playing Mooney, Ray, and Drake London. They're just always on the field. They pass the ball a good amount. I think that's a very fair price. Him and JSN would be a tough decision. Lock and also in that boat. Lad McConkey, 6K. I mean, he's going to project well a lot of weeks because he's wide receiver 1 in the slot. Always a better DK play.
I'll say no on that one. I mean, just because of the game they want to play. Like they're 7-point favorites. Maybe another week, but like they're so like I would definitely play like Waddle over him.
Waddle's right there.
Yeah, like definitely do it. And I get it. I mean, on that 2-game slate last week, he was like the best value by far, like 80% owned in contests. Like people wanted to play him, but I don't think we're doing that.
You don't need to. Waddle's 100 less. We have JSN, Mooney, Lockett all in the same range. Leggett's more appropriately priced on FanDuel at 5.8 still. I don't really think I want to play a receiver, anyone on that team. Last guy, Calvin Ridley, 5.6. D-Hop trade might go overlooked a bit. He's got to do something. So I think Tyreek looks very underpriced. Higgins looks mispriced on both sides. Seattle guys, Tampa guys, Ridley, Drake London, something like that.
Yeah, I like the London. I mean, people are going to see the 79, but I think he's now in that tier of like top wide receivers, to be honest with you. Like dude, I mean, they have a good connection. he's going to have some monster games here down the stretch.
Getting
I like
Kirk from Mariota last year, you could not get a bigger upgrade for a wide receiver.
Definitely. We already talked about tight end. It's going to be Njoku or Kincaid. I feel very strongly about that. I'm based on the way the pricing is this week. I'm going to just assume at this point that Broncos defense is like 3,500. I haven't looked. I have not looked, so I guarantee you they're underpriced. That would be my guess. Let's see. Sorted by value. They're not showing. Good job.
Yeah.
One good. So that's the most expensive then? Let's see.
Second most.
A hell of a job. So they got one price right on the entire thing, and it was the Broncos defense. Actually pretty shocking. I would have put a decent chunk of change that they're under 4K. Like definitely would have put it. San Fran, 4K. I mean, that's a really good price tag, actually. Detroit, that's going to be the popular one right there. Detroit at home, favored by 11 or whatever, 11.5. Lions are going to probably be the cash game defense would be my guess. But I mean, you don't have if you need 600 more, just go to Miami or Indy. It doesn't really matter. But if you have 4K, I think it's probably the Lions.
I agree with you. More than likely will probably play the Lions, but I will sacrifice moving my defense to anywhere and upgrading somewhere if I want it than any other position. There's so much volatility in it. I think it's only a matter of time until the defense is gone, at least on one of the two sites.
Hopefully, man. I hope. All right. I think it's a pretty good breakdown. DK, I think, is more decisions on FanDuel. There's probably 4 or 5 guys that are borderline locks. So if you are someone that plays on both and you like to lean more one way this week, for me personally, I'd probably focus more on DK. There's just some standout prices on FanDuel that everyone's going to be on. But any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, I like the 13 games, so late swap ability. Never forget about that. It's not just tournaments; it's definitely cash games too. We will have 5 games in the afternoon window. Always love to see that. So good for afternoon slate, good for swapping. But I'm ready for Sunday, baby. Right, ready for tomorrow. Actually, ready for a little Ilya Max. 7 a.m.
Yes, that's a big one. I can't wait. Super excited. What is it? 10 a.m. Eastern start time. We have all the content already up on the website. Title Marley.
It'll be up in 15 minutes.
Okay. USC. What is it? 308.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that card, man. Topuria, Holloway, and then Chimaev and Whitaker. I mean, 2 5-round fights. Man, I'm looking forward to it. All part of our All Access. So if you are an All Access member at ShipItNation.com, you get UFC, you get NASCAR, you get MLB, you get NBA, you get all the sports, all the main sports on DraftKings for one low price. The best deal in the industry. And tomorrow's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to that. I've already read the content. It is on point, elaborate, gets you everything you need to have success. I've had a lot of success in the MMA streets. The only thing I look at is the content from Title and our guy, Big Marley. So get on over to Ship It Nation, check that out. Good luck in your cash games this week. We'll be back next week for the Week 9 breakdown. Let's get those Ship It Nation logos to the top of the leaderboard.